What's up, guys? Welcome back to Libertalia Game Supply. I have a deck profile for you today that I'm actually kind of excited about. Not because it's super good or anything, actually because it's super bad. It's a terrible deck, terrible deck. It is Genex. It should be up right here as soon as I open this up. The reason this excited me is I was trying to come up with an idea what would be a fun deck to try to build that isn't going to be like easily just net deckable. Not easily just like look up a deck list online. And so I started with Genex. Naturally, step number one is to try to find deck lists of decks that people have used in the past that were somewhat successful. And everything that I was finding just was not good. And that is not the fault of any deck builder. It is because this archetype is trash. I'll just pull up some of the cards on the side here so you can see. Like, I think the best card they had printed, like when the deck was still having stuff printed, was this thing, which just searches in the end phase, which is trash, right? You're burning your normal summon to summon this thing, and then you get something to your hand. The problem is the things you search really don't do anything. Like, the deck doesn't do anything, which has always been the problem. Like, even if you're just looking this over, I'd say it's enough Genex cards for it to be considered a Genex deck, but if you look at the extra deck, this one's probably the only one that's actually any good, and we'll explain that in a little bit. This thing's okay, and then the rest of them are just not good. They either require a specific attribute to summon, or their effect is dependent on the attribute. I can just show you, they're on here. Or their effect is dependent, so like this requires a wind monster. This one has an effect that requires, like, it only gets the effect of the attribute of the non-tuner material that you use to summon it. And so I had a few more in the side or in the extra deck here. I ended up cutting them out just because if you look this over, you have no fire, you have no earth. I mean, unless you count Ash Blossom, you have no earth, non-tuners. Like, you're just not going to be able to summon most of these things, and even if you do, like, they're just not good. So like look at this guy right here. Gains 300 attack for each spell and trap set on the field. You can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to select and destroy one set spell or trap card. Like, it's just a worse Twin Twister that you have to burn materials to summon. So it's just not good. But we'll go through this deck list quick. If you have not noticed already, it's Auroradon combo Genex. One thing that I noticed is this deck is actually pretty decent at making Auroradon combo turn one almost every single time. Like, very rarely did I not open something that could make Auroradon. So you could argue that you could make Auroradon combo in just about any deck that plays tuners, and so why play this? Because Genex is just an interesting old archetype that sucks, and finally there's a way to make it suck less. So we got triple Undyne. Really all this is a Foolish Burial for your Rosenix. So you would Undyne, pitch this, banish it from the graveyard, make your token. It's just like an extra body for Synchro Summoning or Link Summoning or whatever. We got Turbo, so this is actually like your best Genex card in the deck. This is one of your main starter cards. So you got Turbo. On normal summon, he searches a level 1 Genex to your hand. The level 1 that you are searching is Oracle. So that's all this does. It's just a searcher. And if this card didn't exist, it would be a terrible searcher. But when this card is added from your deck to your hand by the effect of a Genex monster, you can special summon it. But you cannot use it as synchro material for anything other than the synchro summon of a Genex monster. So it literally only exists to make Helifibrax. I don't know that I've ever known how to say that. But that's what that is for. You're going to, turn 1, you want to open Turbo, normal summon, search the Oracle, special summon, link away to Helifibrax, search Despot. You know the combo from there. Or maybe you don't, but yeah. 1 Birdman. It's just a tuner that it can replace something on the field. So like if you were to look at this, like you open Undyne and Birdman. Undyne, pitch Rosenix, banish, make the token, bounce the Undyne, summon the Birdman. Now you have what you need to make your Helifibrax again. 1 is fine. I do not want more than 1. It really doesn't come up often enough for you to need more than 1. Triple Controller, this is your Genex tuner. It's also a decent normal summon, so if you'll notice we play triple double summons, so you're gonna, like, there's not enough special summoning effects within Genex monsters to not be running something that allows you to put extra bodies on board. So I got the triple double summon in there. This is also like a double summon, which we'll cover in a second here. But ultimately, like, if you open this and this, you have a Rodon combo again, or this and any other tuner. So any of these guys, this, but that would be terrible. Even your Valor and your Ash Blossom if you absolutely needed to, right? Lots of tuners available. The little double summon engine, symphonic engine, we got triple guitars and 2 mics. So this could go to 1. The problem is if you draw it, this doesn't summon it from the hand. So what this does is Pendulum Zone, discard a card, special summon symphonic from your deck. When this card special summon, where is it? After you normal or special summon this card, you can normal summon 1 monster during your main phase of this turn in addition to your normal summoner set. So you would be making guitar, discard something, special summon mics, and then you get 2 more normal summons after that. So you're just making bodies. It's actually fairly consistent, and it's pretty good in this deck just because, like I said, there's not a whole lot of special summoning effects within Genex, like at all. The ones that exist are just so bad. Like here's a good one. When this card is normal special summon, you special summon level 3 or lower Genex monster from your hand. Alright, that's cool, except like the level 3 or lower Genex monsters that you want are what, controller? Well, this thing's already a tuner. Oracle is also a tuner. Turbo's level 4, and Undyne I don't think gets its pitch effect if you special summon it. So like it's terrible. I don't understand how they decided on all these effects, but a couple of the bricks here, Colt Wing and Despot 001, so that's all for Rodon combo, and then some hand traps, triple blossom, double Valor. That's just because there wasn't much else. You can see down here in the side, this is not actually what I would put in a side deck. These are other things that I was considering and just never, I didn't put them in the deck, but I didn't want to like forget that I was thinking about it, just in case I changed my mind. But I'll explain why not these, I guess, at the end. So then for spells, triple unexpected die. So this also kind of replaces the controller. So if you open this guitar and die, you also have the Rodon combo without using a normal summon. So you would have to do this first. You would special summon your controller from your deck and then go from there. This is pretty much just a Monster Reborn as long as you have Link monsters. I thought I wouldn't like it that much, but it's actually been kind of cool because you are going to end up with Link monsters. Like, there's not a way to make a board that doesn't suck without using your Link monsters in this deck, because your Synchro monsters just aren't powerful enough to leave them on the field by themselves. And so that Monster Reborn comes in handy to be able to extend a little bit farther, which you really need. Like, you just got to try to put a huge board on the field when you get your first turn, because if they take it apart, you don't have the resources with this archetype to really play through it all that well. Double Summon I kind of explained already. I suppose you could replace this with something else, but I couldn't think of something else that I like better. I'd considered some different traps, maybe some imperms or something. Maybe evenly matched, build this as a going second deck, cut the strikes, put the evenly matched in there, because you are pretty much always opening a Rodon combo, and you can end on like Access Code and Borreload Savage pretty easy, which is OTK if you were to evenly match them. So now that I'm having that thought, I might potentially do that myself. Yeah, I don't know. Monster Reborn, same deal, just looking to extend a little bit harder. Get some extra use out of these bodies that don't do anything at all after they've used their effect one time. Like, none of them really have graveyard effects. None of them do have graveyard effects. The Genex monsters, I mean. Yeah, so you gotta find some way to use them again. Called by just to protect your combos. Upstart and Desires just as a little bit extra draw power. That's also kind of because there isn't much else to put in this deck that I think makes it a whole lot better. But it's actually worked out fine. Desires, I don't know. At 1, it just feels whatever. And then Triple Strike, just gotta have an answer to your opponent every now and again. But like I said, now that I'm thinking of evenly matched, that might be the better option. Now that I'm considering that. Extra deck. We got the Link Spider. That is for the this combo. So you would get rid of the token for the Link Spider, and then use the Link Spider to special summon this. Yeah. because this searches. I did a horrible job explaining that. So when you pitch this water monster, it'll search the controller to your hand. You'll then banish this to make the token, link away the token to make the spider, spider to special summon the controller, Auroradon combo. There you go. A couple nightmares, Phoenix and Unicorn. Don't like that. Let me fix the order there. Just because they're good cards, right? Lots of decks play them. Auroradon, because it's called Auroradon combo. Can't do that without Auroradon. One Halifabrax. I've thought about playing 2, maybe even 2 and 2, because it's really the only combo that this deck does. But yeah, you're talking about taking up a lot of space there. I suppose you could cut some of these synchros that you don't really need, but it's whatever. Access code, like I said, with that evenly matched situation, like you're just trying to put as much damage on board as you can when you answer your opponent after they go first. Herald the Arclight, this is kind of like a main combo piece in that you want to end on Auroradon, Savage, and Herald, and you can do it if you open pretty much any hand in this deck that you open can end on this, this, and this, and it's just a negate. Pretty cool. Quandax is a big part of your combo because it's a level 4 tuner, as is this Shooting Riser, because it can also be a level 4 tuner. Like I said, we're trying to get to Borreload, or you can even just kind of like work around different level requirements for some of the bigger guys with this thing's level manipulation effect. So that's why those are in there. Genex Ally Axel. This is like the only really good Genex extra deck monster. This other one that you'll see in here is okay. I could see why it would be useful, but I like this thing a lot better because it's an extender. You can select one level 4 or lower machine type monster from your graveyard, special summon it. Attack of that monster is doubled into the end phase, but it cannot attack your opponent directly. Remove that monster from play during your end phase. So it shouldn't stay on the field until your end phase. Like, you're going to summon this thing, pull one back. It's going to be a big boy. Either you're attacking for game and that's it, or you're using it as a body to make something else. So it's like the only one that does something that's useful, that like furthers your board state. Borreload Savage, just super good card. Locomotion R Genex, so it's just a big eye essentially, except you don't get to pick the target. It just takes whatever has the highest attack, which you probably would do anyway, and it's on Synchro Summon, so it's not an activatable effect, so like you can't like Monster Reborn it back and use it again. I could very easily cut this and never think twice about it, but it's in there because it's not terrible, and there just isn't that much Genex representation in the extra deck, so unless they get a Link Monster or something in the future, I guess I would leave it in here just because this is kind of gimmicky and it's fun. And then our last three, Mistworm, Trish, and Baron de Fleur, however you would pronounce that. Trish, super good. Mistworm's pretty good. The only downside is that it requires 3 materials. But that's fairly easy to accomplish between like the tokens that you're creating and the like your tuners are all pretty low level, so like controller plus a couple of these tokens here that are level 3 is Mistworm, and then you get to bounce 3 cards your opponent controls. So pretty powerful, pretty devastating. I suppose that would be why it was skyrocketing in price there before we found out that it was getting reprinted in that beautiful DT rarity. I'll definitely be picking up one of those ones. And then the Baron is just super good card, and making a level 10 really isn't that hard. Like, you have so much variance in the levels of these monsters and how many you can put on the board, and manipulating levels with the Shooting Riser, and so it's easy to make if you want to make it. But yeah, main combo is to get the Auroradon on board in one of the many ways we discussed, then make the pointing with my finger again, Herald the Arclight there, and the Borreload Savage, so you have a decent board to end and pass and whatever. But yeah, I was just kind of excited to find a way to play this deck, because I do remember when was it Hidden Arsenal 1 through 3, I think all these cards came out in, and I was just starting to get back into the game when those sets were on the shelves. Like, I really loved the game when I was younger, didn't really play as much or think about it as much once I got into high school. And then I finished high school, and as I was finishing high school, started getting back into it, and yeah, those cards were just coming out, and so there's kind of like a fond memory for me seeing some of these things, because I just remember having a bunch of them that I could never use because they weren't good. So being able to build a deck with them that isn't trash or total trash just really fun. But hey, if you guys got other suggestions, or if you've tried to build this deck and have come up with ways that make it work better than what you're seeing here, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. Oh, real quick, the reason we're not playing some of these, so this is because it's just not good. You don't play anything that requires the controller anyway. These both just require a Genex tuner, so you don't need it to be controller. This, like I said, one is more than good. This is just not a good card. I saw this in tons of people's lists, so I kept it off to the side. I guess it searches controller, but it does nothing once you've searched the controller, so that's kind of useless. You don't play any equips. I think I just pulled that out because it was a level 7. This thing I was certain would be useful because it could special summon your controller from your deck by revealing something that uses Genex controller specifically. But as I just said, none of these require Genex controller. So you could just play a card that requires it so that you have the ability to use this effect, except you can only special summon synchro monsters the turn you activate the effect, which ruins the whole purpose of the deck, right? And then Machine Dupe, this was also one I thought for sure there's got to be a way to use this thing. There's just not. Like, nothing here really has less than 500 attack other than this guy here, which you don't really want to be summoning that off Machine Dupe. You want to be summoning that off of the Turbo. Let me quick check. Deskbot you only play one of, so yeah, you have no targets. But I thought, yeah, maybe there's something I missed that you could use to make this thing a lot better. But yeah, as I was saying previously, thanks for checking this out. If you got any other suggestions, let me know down below. If you got any other ideas for decks that you'd like to see built, I can do my best. Right? This isn't terrible, huh? I can produce some results. But I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me here today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.